Hello there, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome. I hope you will enjoy the video currently showing, and please leave your comments below after viewing. If you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe to my channel, for there will be more videos to come. And thank you for your interest. Welcome to Wooler in Northumberland. Wooler is a small rural town, situated 16 miles from Berwick-upon-Tweed, and on the edge of the Northumbria National Park. It became a market town in 1199 and was an important centre of the woolen industry, renowned for its sheep shearing and the sale of its wool. It was considered to be equal in importance to towns such as Newcastle and Alnwick, and in the 13th century was one of the richest townships in Northumberland. Today there is still a weekly mart. However, there are few buildings of historic importance owing to two major fires in 1722 and 1862. In spite of its connection with wool, the name Wooler, originally Waller, in 1187, and then Weller, in 1196, comes from Old English Weller Ofer, which meant stream bank, referring to the Wooler water. There is much evidence of hilltop fortifications dating back to the Bronze Age, but little significant effect of the Roman period. Wooler is not mentioned in the Domesday Book of 1086, as Northumberland was not under Norman control, and it was probably merely a hamlet prior to 1107, when the first Baron of Wooler, Robert de Muscombe, was appointed. Because of its position near the borders, Wooler had a troubled past, with raids by the Reivers from the early 14th century, which continued for about 400 years. The Reivers were professional cattle thieves, and Wooler did not escape their plundering. Peel houses and fortified farmhouses were built for the protection of the people and their animals. By the 19th century, Wooler had become a prosperous market town, with a population of 1,911 by 1851, with agriculture providing the basis of the economy. During the first week of May, hirings, a market, and a fair used to take place on Wooler Marketplace. Workers gathered alongside the now demolished fountain, hoping to be hired for a year's employment by farmers or estate managers. If chosen, a year's contract would follow, and the next year, the same procedure would be repeated, thus creating much movement, also known as splitting, between farms and houses. Hinds, known as farm labourers, needed to have a bondager, known as a female worker, to help on the farm, and she would be paid by the hind. Famous people connected with Wooler include the Dalziel brothers, who were important engravers on wood, and illustrators, and were responsible for engraving block illustrations for Punch magazine. Punch magazine, or the London Charivari, was a British weekly magazine of humour and satire, established in 1841 by Henry Mayhew and engraver Ebenezer Landals. Sir Walter Scott is said to have visited in 1791 for health reasons, staying in a farmer's house in the Cheviot Hills, where Wooler was well known for its clean air and as a health resort. The young Grace Darling, from 1815 to 1842, also spent time in Wooler in an attempt to cure her consumption. Grace Horsley Darling was born on the 24th of November 1815 and died on the 20th of October 1842, was an English lighthouse keeper's daughter. Her participation in the rescue of survivors from the shipwrecked Forfarshire in 1838 brought her national fame. The paddle steamer ran aground on the Farne Islands off the coast of Northumberland in northeast England. 9 members of the crew were saved. Josephine Butler was born in 1828 and died in 1906. Was a social reformer, retired to Queen's Road in Wooler, where she died in 1906. Wooler WI erected a memorial plaque to her which said her works do follow her. Josephine Elizabeth Butler, from the 13th of April 1828 to the 30th of December 1906, was an English feminist and social reformer in the Victorian era. She campaigned for women's suffrage, the right of women to a better education, Anne Catherine Swinford Lambton was awarded the OBE, which means the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, and the FBA, which means Fellowship of the British Academy. Was born on the 8th of February 1912 and died on the 19th of July 2008. She was usually known as Nancy Lambton, was a British historian and expert on medieval and early modern Persian history, Persian language, Islamic political theory, and Persian social organization. She was an acknowledged authority on land tenure and reform in Iran, including Seljuk, Mongol, Safavid and Qajar administration and institutions, and local and tribal histories. On the 19th of July 2008, at the age of 96, and after a long illness, Anne K.S. Lambton died at her home in Wooler, Northumberland. Because of its proximity to the hills, Wooler is known as the gateway to the Cheviots, with the Cheviot Hills, Humbleton Hill, Hedge Hope, and Hare Hope are favourites among walkers. Less strenuous walks include Wooler Common and the Pin Well, which is a natural spring. It was traditional for visitors to make a wish at the Pin Well by dropping bent pins into the well on May Day. Today pins or coins can sometimes be seen in the well, indicating that this custom has not been forgotten. The Pin Well is overlooked by the King's Chair on the Kettles, which is a prehistoric camp. The Surrey House on the A697 is now quite derelict. It was so called after the Earl of Surrey, who supposedly stayed there the night before the Battle of Flodden in 1513. It is said that this is where Surrey wrote to James IV, reproaching him for not yet giving battle. Another place of interest is the Wooler Tower, or the Tory, situated on Church Street. There is little left of the medieval tower, which during the Middle Ages was a motte and bailey castle. What is a motte and a bailey castle? The motte and bailey castle consisted of 2 main components. Component 1, the motte, which is an artificial mound atop, which was built a fortified tower called a keep, and Component 2, the bailey, which was an enclosure connected to the motte. By 1526, a new tower had been erected, and in 1545, it contained an important garrison. Even in its current neglected state, it is well worth a visit to see the war memorial and its interesting views. The original castle belonged to the Muscombe family. In 1887, the North Eastern Railway opened a single-track railway line between Alnwick and Cornhill, where it joined the Tweedmouth to Kelso line. Wooler was the most important intermediate station on the line, with a large goods yard and a warehouse. It also had 2 separated platforms, a footbridge, and station waiting rooms on both sides. Initially, the line served both passengers and freight services, but after World War I, its passenger usage declined, and from 1930, The line was operated for freight only. After the line suffered serious storm damage in 1948 and 1949, the cost of repairs could not be justified by the usage, and the line was divided into two with one segment running between Wooler and Coldstream. This survived until 1965, when it succumbed to the beaching cuts. Along with the Tweedmouth to Kelso line, some of the station buildings at Wooler luckily still survive today. From 1936, the waiting room was used as a youth hostel, with separated accommodation for male and female on opposite sides of the tracks. The station master's house is now divided into two residences, and the goods warehouse is used by an antiques dealer. In the early part of World War II, the Women's Land Army stayed in the station buildings until in 1941, they were rebilleted to a new building on Cheviot Street. Of their experience, the women said that, in spite of the hard work, they wouldn't have missed it for the world. The Cheviot Centre and Information Centre is part of the original workhouse and has become the focal point of the town. The Glendale History Society and the U3A hold meetings here, and a new library is also incorporated within the building. There are recently acquired wooden pods available for hire by small businesses. The high spots of the year include the Glendale Show, with its many stalls, food, crafts, jewelry, etc., the judging of animals, races, and a fair. It is a popular event and is visited by thousands of people. The Chevy Chase is a walk-run which takes place early in July, and is a 20-mile race. It starts at the top of Ramsey's Lane, finishing at the YHA. The Wooler Festival is also an annual success with its food and craft stalls, clog and Morris dancing, bands, folk music, Punch and Judy, and Salad. The Wooler Wheel cycling event has become another important date in the cycling calendar in Northumberland, with distances of 100k and 160k. Wooler is also on the route of the St. Cuthbert's Way, a 100k long-distance trail, starting in Melrose and terminating on Lindisfarne. Wooler today. The town today consists mainly of the high street with a variety of shops whose frontages are little changed from Victorian times. There are 4 churches: St. Ninian's Roman Catholic Church, St. Mary's Parish Church, the United Reformed Church and the Evangelical Church. Apart from normal religious meetings, these churches have become multifunctional as venues for social gatherings, musical and charity evenings, and art exhibitions, and are all interesting buildings in their own right. Currently there are 5 public houses, these having dwindled over the years from 13 in 1855 to the remaining 5, which are the Black Bull, an old coaching inn, the Angel Inn, the Anchor Inn, the Red Lion and the Tankerville Arms, which was formerly the Cottage Hotel. Floods of 1906. On Saturday, the 19th of May 1906, Wooler and the surrounding district suffered one of the worst storms in living memory. The weather had been cold with snow covering the Cheviot Hills. Sleet and rain had fallen for days, with the rain becoming a torrential downpour all day and night on the Saturday. The burns and hill streams rapidly became rivers, and with the River Till overflowing its banks, and the whole of the low-lying area of Millfield Plain was covered in flood water. From all parts of the area came the news of severe damage. The Lilburn Bridge, which spanned the high road to Alnwick near Riderton Station, was undermined with the ever-increasing volume of water, and fell with a crash just before midnight on the Saturday night. Masonry from the bridge was completely washed away, leaving only the 2 sides of the bridge and rendering the road completely impracticable. The railway line from Alnwick to Berwick was partially underwater, with the last train on the Saturday night terminating at the small station of Akeld. On the Sunday morning, a gang of railway repair workers were drafted in to repair the line. Many of the high roads were ploughed up, and the stones were laid bare by the rushing water, with damage to dikes and fences being considerable. The prospects for the landowners were drear, with sheep being drowned by the score, and the horses were left stranded on islands in the fields created by the floods, with their owners swimming out to rescue them, in fear that they may perish in the flood waters. Whole fields of spring wheat lay ruined beneath an accumulation of silt and rubbish. Young game life also suffered during the extreme weather. To put the storm into context, the amount of rain that fell during the whole of the previous year within the Wooler area was 27 inches. Between the Wednesday and Sunday of the storm, 5 inches of rain was registered. Welcome to Wooler Arts. Wooler Arts is an organization that aims to enhance the cultural and creative life of the rural communities of Northumberland. They put on exhibitions, art classes and workshops, classical and folk music concerts, recitals and workshops, community music events, workshops for children, workshops for traditional crafts and skills, and talks by visiting guests. They also try to get people to become involved and to engage with creativity. Established in 2021, Wooler Arts has quickly shown itself to be an organization that is of benefit to the market town of Wooler, Glendale and the wider area. People are able to experience and participate in a range of different art forms and explore new outlets for their personal creativity. Community and landscape. Lives are enriched by engaging with the arts, whether it's being actively involved or by attending events. People enjoy a better sense of well-being through the arts and feel a greater sense of pride and citizenship of their community and of the outstanding landscape in which they live. This is true for today and for future generations. wild and yet a beautiful area that has a turbulent past. Wooler and the surrounding lands endured frequent raids by marauding Scots between the 14th and 16th century and later by the border raiders or reivers. Wooler Common's recent past is less bloodthirsty and has a network of public and permissive paths. An easier access trail encircles two picturesque ponds at the heart of this mixture of mature woodland and open common. Mountain biking and horse riding are also welcome. Picnics at Wooler Common and Woodland Park. Enjoy a tasty treat in the forest at Wooler Common and Woodland Park. Just bring along good food and company. To prevent forest fires and reduce waste, please do not bring any barbecues into their forest. Walking at Wooler Common and Woodland Park. Wooler Common and Woodland Park has a range of trails to explore on foot. From the car park information point, there is access to Wooler Common's easygoing trail, the St. Cuthbert's Way, and a network of public and permissive paths. A wheelchair-suitable, easier access trail with handrail and tapping boards for the visually impaired also starts and finishes near the car park. If you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you will come back again, as more videos will be uploaded soon. And thank you for your interest.